The full demo game, Kitsune 0. Full disclosure, the way that I discovered the game I am going to talk about is through one of my mutuals online, who worked on the game. But before I even got to play the game, I had already been impressed by the company, Kitsune Games itself, and the novel development and release model that Kitsune Games used for this game. You see, Kitsune 0, despite being a full game with a story, unique character, unique sprites, and having everything you could expect from a full game, is, in fact, a DLC for the previously released Super Bernie World. Super Bernie World was a 2020 meme-centric game starring then-presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, running through a fairly straightforward recreation of the aesthetics of the Super Mario platforming games. Kitsune 0 is a $5 full game DLC for Super Bernie World that shakes up those familiar Super Mario gameplay systems into something novel and interesting, yet this seemingly simple choice to release the game as DLC comes with, in my opinion, a lot of potential. The current state of free-to-play is pretty toxic, as it comes with either the impression of a low-quality practice game made for student projects or self-study, or the impression of a soon-to-be-revealed predatory pricing model. All battle passes, microtransactions, gacha, and loot boxes, like nearly every games-as-service model on the market, or even the worse inverse, where the game hard stops before you even get to play the game for real. Games like Chocobo GP on the Nintendo Switch that masquerade as a full game up until you try to click on the button to race someone. Then you get a pop-up that says to go buy a full-price game and a network gaming subscription from Nintendo. No matter how you slice it, free-to-play means price obfuscation out the wazoo. And in my opinion, price obfuscation is inherently an unethical business practice. Kitsune Games does the opposite of that. Before online marketplaces allowed games to be bought and directly downloaded with extreme convenience, games sold their original run on download discs, and if successful, would sell an expansion disc that would add more game to your existing games. Free-to-play and online updates destroyed this model of sale. Kitsune Games, rather than using the expansion model to add to an existing game, has used DLC to release a standalone sequel. Here's why that's an exciting idea. First, it's consumer-friendly. It turns the original free game into a full demo that both allows the player to see if they enjoy the game they are considering to purchase, and prevents any spoilers or loss of hype for the part of the game they are going to purchase. Second, it is development-friendly. It allows a developer to use all of their foundational code, their objects and behaviors to be retained. You get to use tools you are already familiar with to expand your toolbox for level design. No need to reproduce the work you have already done from the bottom up. No need to completely redo your source control practices when making a sequel or a new game of the same genre. You need only to iterate on what you have. A developer can develop and release a game sequel or an original story in the same genre within the same space. Third, it is hardware-friendly. It allows players that become fans of the game to have a single copy of the game downloaded onto their system. No need to lose precious hard drive space to redundant files between two games. And if the developer has a modular mindset, you could create a single hub where you can access whatever game you purchased. Fourth, it is, hopefully, sales-friendly. You can directly build off of the goodwill gained from the release of the original game, which your players already own. The original game can act as a marketing tool for future games by presenting previews of the other full games. Although I feel that starts inching towards some other practices that could be more exploitative, such as clicking past pop-up ads to get through to the base game, or being directly linked to marketing materials or store pages from the base game. Imagine if your favorite game, just say Bloodborne as an example, could be played in new settings, new aesthetics, and new stories over and over. Previous games in the genre felt one way, future games in the genre felt another, but they don't scratch the same itch as Bloodborne. But rather than just playing Bloodborne for the 26th time, next year there could be a modular Bloodborne DLC to download called Desperado. You load up the game, hit the right bumper, and bam, you're starting down the barrel of a whole new game with a classic Western aesthetic that doesn't kinda feel like Bloodborne. It feels exactly like Bloodborne, because it is Bloodborne. The difficulty, however, is in asking people to always have that previous game before jumping on at a later date, or needing to keep the game updated to keep working on iterative operating systems. Honestly, I can think of a lot of potential struggles that come with a model like this too. It isn't foolproof nor golden. Essentially, seeing something like this excites me because it offers a model for smaller games and developers to expand what they have made and build on previous successes over time, while also potentially demonstrating a way to get the best benefits out of free-to-play models without the scummy practices that normally accompany them, rather than sell cosmetics that don't substantially create a new experience. You can reskin the game itself, remix the levels, and in so doing, create something entirely new in half the time. I think it's a pretty good idea to build on the thing you have when you strike gold once. Stay true.